The Leafs, Oilers, Habs, Canucks all waiting on injury news surrounding some pretty significant talent. Here's insider Darren Dreger with the latest updates. Dregs, let's begin with Austin Matthews. He wasn't initially supposed to miss all that much time. Now it's 6 games, and the Leafs aren't optimistic about Wednesday either.
No, Austin Matthews won't be in the lineup for the Toronto Maple Leafs on Wednesday. And really, this is just an abundance of caution to this point, Gino. And I know that Leafs fans don't want to hear that because it seems like it's been precautionary for a long time to this point. But clearly, Austin Matthews has yet to feel symptom-free. And until he gets to that place, then the Maple Leafs aren't going to rush him. So given the light schedule that the Maple Leafs have this week, it does make sense that he's not available on Wednesday, and then you push the target to Sunday's game against Utah. Meanwhile, you've got a month-to-month scenario when you look at another forward for the Toronto Maple Leafs in Calle Jarnkrok. He had sports hernia and groin surgery. So that explains, Gino, what Calle Jarnkrok has been dealing with for not just weeks, but the last number of months. So he's going to miss a ton of time in Toronto.
The only good news for the Leafs, while Matthews has been out there 5-1 so far, and Marner's got multi-point games in all 5 of their wins. All right, next up, Darnell Nurse. He left after the wicked shot to the head from Ryan Reeves on Saturday night. Reeves got 5 games for the hit. What's the latest on Nurse?
Well, the news is good from an Oilers perspective. Chris Knobloch, the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers, acknowledging that Darnell Nurse really shouldn't miss more than maybe the next 5 to 10 days. And I think that has to be considered best case scenario. We all saw the graphic video of Darnell Nurse after the Ryan Reeves hit on Saturday night. To say that he didn't look good, I think that's an understatement. But in quick order, I would say within a day or two after the hit, surprisingly, he felt pretty good. So the information this morning before Knobloch addressed it was that he's going to miss some time, but it wasn't going to be a significant amount of time. And now the Oilers have made that clear that it shouldn't be more than a week to 10 days.
Nurse is playing over 20 minutes a game. That's the 3rd highest total among Oilers D-men. Really interesting sighting in Montreal, Dregs. Patrick Laine out since that nasty knee-on-knee with Leafs Cedric Paré in the preseason, but he's been skating and he's looking pretty good. He was supposed to be gone until well after Christmas. What's the latest on Lione now?
Well, look, it's uncertain as to when he'll be able to return, other than what you just said, Gino. That's kind of where the goalposts are for the expected return and the recovery process for Patrick Laine. But who's kidding who? When you see him out on the ice, as we did earlier in the day, that is a huge sign that he's headed in the right direction. I wouldn't say that it's expected that he returns ahead of time. I know that the Montreal Canadiens are also going to be very cautious with Laine. He's been down this road before, specific to the knee. So he's going to know when he feels ready enough to, kind of up his level of exercise and push that knee to see that if it's even plausible to come back earlier than what the initial diagnosis was. But certainly a good sign to see him back on the ice.
All right, let's go to Vancouver. Brock Boeser has missed the last 5 games since Tanner Jeannot took him out with that headshot that cost him a 3-game suspension. What's the update on Boeser?
Well, Boeser is working out individually, so that's a good sign, right? He's testing how he feels after each workout, but he is not with the Vancouver Canucks as a team. So until he can get to a point where he feels comfortable enough, and the medical people of the Vancouver Canucks are comfortable enough to get him back into a practice environment, then it's near impossible to pencil down a timeline for return. But they're optimistic given some of the feedback they're getting out of these workouts. But he first needs to attend a practice or 2, maybe even 3, before they can realistically look at his return to the regular season.
They miss him 5 games out, and Boeser still leads the Canucks with 6 goals. The Canucks are also still waiting on Thatcher Demko. Dregs, he hasn't played since suffering that mysterious knee injury in last year's playoffs. Is the Canucks #1 any closer to a return?
He is closer to a return. He's a full participant in practice with the Vancouver Canucks. And as I just mentioned with Brock Boeser, or any player for that matter, when you're coming off a longer-term injury, that's how you gauge the readiness of that individual, whether or not they can get through a couple of practices and how they feel. So he has been participating of late with the Vancouver Canucks in practice, but they don't feel like they're in any rush here. That's not to say that they don't want him back sooner rather than later. And, I would say that their goaltending, Gino, even though it's been okay, has sagged a little bit of late. So as soon as they can get Thatcher Demko back into the crease, starting for the Canucks, they're going to take advantage of that. But the messaging that I got from the Canucks this morning was that he still needs a few more reps before he's up to regular season speed. So that at least sounds like it's closer to days, maybe inside a week, than it is to a week or more.
Insider Darren Dreger with key injury updates from right across the country.